At this rally, President Trump went after Representative Ilhan Omar with pretty blunt criticism.
So Representative Omar blamed the United States for the terrorist attacks on our country, saying that terrorism is a reaction to our involvement in other people's affairs. She smeared U.S. service members involved in Black Hawk Down. In other words, she slandered the brave Americans who were trying to keep peace in Somalia. Omar minimized the September 11th attacks on our homeland, saying, some people did something. I don't think so. Some people did something. Yeah, some people did something, all right. She pleaded for compassion for ISIS recruits attempting to join the terrorist organization. She was looking for compassion. Omar laughed that Americans speak of al-Qaeda in a menacing tone and remarked that you don't say America with this intensity. You say al-Qaeda makes you proud. Al-Qaeda makes you proud. You don't speak that way about America. And at a press conference just this week, when asked whether she supported al-Qaeda, that's our enemy. That's our enemy. They are a very serious problem that we take care of, but they always seem to come along somewhere. She refused to answer. She didn't want to give an answer to that question. Omar blamed the United States for the crisis in Venezuela. I mean, think of that one. And she looks down with contempt on the hard-working Americans, saying that ignorance is pervasive in many parts of this country. And obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds. And she talked about the evil Israel, and it's all about the Benjamins. Not a good thing to say. So that's Omar. And countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
and I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
President Trump began by highlighting Omar's pattern of controversial remarks about terrorism. He reminded the crowd that she once suggested U.S. foreign policy was partly to blame for terrorist attacks. Look, debating foreign policy is fair game, but blaming America for terrorism is a completely different conversation, and that's exactly why Trump brought it up. To him, a member of Congress shouldn't sound like someone rationalizing extremist violence. He then brought up her comments about U.S. service members during the Black Hawk Down operation. That incident isn't just history, it's a moment of sacrifice remembered deeply in the military community. And as Commander-in-Chief, Trump calling out anyone who disrespects American soldiers is something his base responds to instinctively. Next, President Trump revisited the infamous, "Some people did something," remark about 9/11. Now, Omar's defenders say she was talking about discrimination after the attacks. But Trump and a lot of Americans hear a different message, a minimization of the worst terrorist strike in modern U.S. history. And when the sitting president repeats that line at a rally, it sends a message. He's not letting people forget it. Whether you agree with Trump or not, it's undeniable that this moment has become a symbol of Omar's broader disconnect with mainstream American sentiment. Trump then emphasized Omar urging compassion for ISIS recruits. Again, context or not, the optics are rough. These aren't jaywalkers, they're would-be members of an organization known for mass murder and torture. Then there's her commentary about Americans supposedly saying Al-Qaeda with a proud tone. It's one of those statements that sounds bad even before you try to interpret it. And President Trump made sure to mention her refusing to directly say she opposes Al-Qaeda when recently asked. That's one of the easiest questions in politics, and dodging it. Yeah, that's political dynamite, especially with a president who lives off blunt contrasts. Finally, Trump brought up her history of anti-Israel remarks and the infamous, "It's all about the Benjamins" tweet, widely condemned at the time by people across the political spectrum, including many Democrats. When the president calls you out for pushing stereotypes about Jewish influence, it hits much harder, because it isn't just a campaign opponent dunking on you, it's the president of the United States framing you as part of a dangerous trend. Now here, where things get really interesting. When Trump makes these criticisms as president, he's not just doing political theater. He's signaling the direction of his administration's broader message about patriotism, foreign policy, and cultural values. What he's really tapping into is a deeper divide in how Americans view their country. On one side, you have people who see America as fundamentally flawed, some even say harmful, and believe the U.S. should constantly apologize for its global role. On the other, you have people who see America as fundamentally good, imperfect, yes, but worth defending with conviction. Ilhan Omar often ends up on the former side, intentionally or not. Her comments, which may sound intellectual or nuanced in academic circles, come off to many Americans as dismissive or even hostile toward the country she represents. And Trump, he represents the opposite pole, unapologetic patriotism, blunt nationalism, and the belief that leaders should speak positively about America, not critique it from the inside. That's why he keeps highlighting her statements. To him, and to many who support him, they represent a worldview that feels un-American. Too sympathetic to foreign adversaries. Too critical of the military. Too willing to shift blame onto the U.S. Too comfortable attacking American culture. And as president, Trump, using his platform to hammer these contrasts, gives them far more weight than usual. This isn't just a political rivalry. It's a clash of visions for what America is and what America should be. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future deep dives. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Do Trump's criticisms of Omar hit fair points, or is he going too far? Let's keep the discussion going respectfully, passionately, and with the facts on the table. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.